But before that, living that life in the world and in sin, I got baptized at the age of 13, so that's taking you way back at age of 13. My pastor at that moment was Carlos Iniceros Jr. He impacted my life greatly, for those who know him or knew him. He just impacted my life, even if it was short, but he impacted my life even though I left the walk of God. But I tell people that God brought me back, because it wasn't me. It was God who brought me back by the grace of God at the age of 16, about to be 17. I'm 23 now, so I was thinking when it took me back to memory lane, what do I share with the young people in the short time that I had? Do I talk about the times that I almost got shot? Do I talk about the times I was in riots, rumbles, fights? But then I said, nah, that's kind of boastful. That's kind of boasting. I don't want people to get that image of, oh man, he's a tough person. I'm not. I just lived the lifestyle that I was taught. That's what I was brought up to. I had no other choice. But I thought, you know what? I can talk about, if I'm still alive by the grace of God, I'm 23 years old, like I mentioned. If I'm still alive, I understand now that God had a purpose for my life. And as I was reflecting, I said, you know what? I'm not going to talk about none of that. I'm going to talk about how when I had nobody around in my home, in my family, to encourage me, Jesus Christ was the only one encouraging me. When I had my own family members, not only verbally, but physically come against me, because they say, you know what, we don't want none of that Jesus stuff. You're going to change your homies too, you're going to change them too, you're going to take them to church, and have them, like I said, not only verbal or physically try to attack me. And I wasn't that type of person that let myself get pushed around. So that was kind of hard for me, not to retaliate, not to, lift up your two fists. And what I would do is I would go to my room, close that door, and say, God, you got to help me. You got to help me, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. I'm going through so much. Find out, get a phone call. Your brother Claudio in Atlanta, Georgia, he's dying. Doctors don't know what he has. They give him about a week to live. I didn't know what to do. Drop to my knees and say, God, just take control. Help me get through this. And drag myself to church. I get to church. Nobody knows what you're going through. But you smile. But as soon as that worship goes on, you begin to lift up your hands and you begin to know that God's in control. And you begin to say, God, I might not know what's going on. I might not have the answer. And I'm afraid of losing my brother. But I know that you're God. If you had mercy on my life, I done heard testimonies of you having mercy on other people's lives, and I know you can have mercy on my brother. Then having a phone call or getting home and seeing my brother Julio, which I've never seen, in pain, and seeing him come out the house in pain, and saying, we gotta rush him to the hospital because he has kidney stones, and the doctors say that he needs to get operated. If not, he's gonna die. They give him a day. Having to go to the hospital and visit him and just pray, but go back home and knowing if he's not gonna make it, he's my older brother. And praying, closing the door, and saying, God, I need you. I need you to take control of the situation, because I need you in my family. Then finding out, you know what, your mom's sick. She's not doing so well. And for me to still wake up in the morning, or Sundays, or just to go to work, or go to Sundays, sometimes I didn't even want to wake up, didn't know what was going on with me. And having sometimes, I'm just going to stay home. I don't know if I'm going to go. But then I would think, God's been so good to me. God's been so merciful to me. I would have been dead a long time ago. I would have been lost my mind if it wasn't because of him. I would have been, committed suicide. I would have been, I don't know where I would have been. But dragging myself to church, and I know it was God telling me, you know what, because it's just something inside of you. And that scripture always came to mind. Luz a mi camino, lámpara a mis pies. Jesús mi fiel amigo. And I would get to church, and as I'm in the metro and I'm walking, get to church, nobody knows what's going on. You get there, but that worship begins to just fill the room. Go up to the altar and lift up my hands and say, God, I just want to thank you for your mercy and your grace. And just begin to worship him. And to reflect, God, I don't deserve to be here. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. That I don't deserve to be here. But I know that if I'm here, God's helped me through the storm, through the fire, through the water. If he was able to do that for me, then he's able to do it to you as well. I don't know who here is about to throw that towel away. You know what, I'm going to give up. I'm going to go see what the world has. I'm going to go to the world and then I'll come back to church. Don't world has nothing for you. If you're thinking, you know what, I'm going to give up. I'm going to give up. That's it. I'm going through so much. Nobody knows what I'm going through. Where's God in this situation? I'm going to tell you, God is in control. You might not see it, and you might be like me, because I know what you're going through. I might know what you've been through. You might say, well, where is God in my situation? Where is he, God? I can't see it. I'm walking, and I'm going, but I don't see nothing. Just take it from me. He's working in your life. He's working in your life. And I was once asked, well, why do you take Jesus so serious? Why do you take him so serious for? Well, because I began to tell him, the things that he's done in my life, I know that I shouldn't be here. So if I did things for the world, if I was all out, then why not for Jesus? I wasn't ashamed for the things of the world, so why not for Jesus?
Come on now.
And I just want to leave you guys with this, so I can continue with my spoken word. It's a blessing if you're in church, if you grew up in church, if you have your Christian family, that's great. I wouldn't trade the things that I went through, because then I wouldn't be able to help other people. I wouldn't be able to be who I am today. And the things that I've gone through made me who I am today. And and people might say, man, I wish this, I wish that, but you don't know the process, you don't know the things that people have been through. And it hurts. It hurts when I see Christian people that are hearing music that they're not supposed to be listening to. I hear them talk things they're not supposed to talk about, but they're in church and they want to act tough. And it's kind of funny, because I'm like, I came from that. I know what tough is. I done hanged around with killers, people on parole, people coming in and out of jail, people that don't touch their hearts to go through a drive-by. I've been there. And it's funny how I'm around people and I hear them either at camp, services, and they're saying this, they're saying that. I'm like, man, you know what? We sometimes don't value what we have.
That's right, brother.
And as well for me, I sometimes forget. So when they told me, you know what? Share a piece of your testimony. I began to just reminisce and say, God, I don't deserve you. I don't deserve to know you. Out of all my brothers, you've kept us all alive. None of us are dead. By the grace of God, God healed all my brothers. My mom's doing okay. And we sometimes forget that God's been so good to us, that the reason we're still alive is because of his grace, not because of luck, not because you're tough, not because of anything. It's because of his grace. So I just want to encourage you. If you feel like giving up, if you feel like, I don't know what's going on in my life, and I just see no way out, keep going. Jesus is there by your side, and he is faithful to begin a good work, and he's faithful to finish it. So I'm going to continue right now with my spoken word. I titled it Growing Up. So hopefully, it's a blessing into your life. And in Jesus' name. Become everything you aspire to. The sky's the limit, let nothing stop you. But how can you tell him to shoot for the stars and aim for the sky when he's already been shot down since birth? Being called just another number, another Hispanic, another child whose mother's on welfare, who's most likely not to make it out of the system. That was me. Never knowing life was so much more than gangs, drugs, and women. And no, I don't mean to boast, nor glorify anything I did, and no, I'm not proud of the things I did. Sometimes I just wish I could go back and choose wisely, like watching my steps, listening. Could I save me torment, trauma, and fear? Having done things I regret to this day. Because one day, I understand I have a child to call my little one, and would never want him or her to undergo my struggles. And I pray that they don't reap what I once sowed. Because one day, I understand I have a child to call my little one, and would never want him or her to undergo my struggles. And I pray that they don't reap what I once sowed. I seen girls I used to know, and it breaks my heart because I once was that guy that played with their emotion, telling them that we're special but didn't care for them. Some moved on to universities and some to young mothers, and all the while with deep hurting pain in their eyes, and I feel responsible because I was there for them. And I began to think if I would have just listened to them and treated them differently, would things have come out differently? But I understand I didn't have God's love back then. So I recognized I couldn't give what I didn't have. So I couldn't give what I didn't have. recognized I couldn't give what I didn't have. So you and I aren't that different. You see, you and I are about the same. We both make mistakes. But at the end of it all, no matter how big or small your sins are, we have one thing in common that brings us all together, and that's Jesus Christ in us. So my life and your life is just a little bit different, because some of us make bigger mistakes than others, but at the end, we are all sinners in need of grace. So you and I aren't that different, because at the end of the day, we are all sinners in need of grace. God bless you.